Welcome to our podcast, Može kafa. We are Ivana
and Maki,
your host. In this podcast, we discuss interesting details about Serbian language and culture from a learner's and teacher's perspective.
We offer new and fun resources for learners of Serbian. To follow each episode with annotated script, vocabulary, and quizzes, join us also at Može kafa podcast on Instagram. So if you're ready, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the podcast. Dobar dan.
Dobar dan svima. We have our coffee ready. Može kafa.
Može kafa. Prijetno.
Hvala, živeli. Let me just take a srk.
Srk?
Mm-hmm. So when you do this, like not slurping, how do you call it? Like
slurping, I guess, no?
Yeah, you say srk because it's like...
Is it polite to do that?
No, it's not polite to do that, but it's just a funny way to say it. Srkati. You know, like do these type of noise. There you go, you learned something.
Yeah, but our topic is not coffee today.
No.
But we love coffee, as you guys know.
Yes.
And so, šta radiš, Ivana?
Ništa.
Ništa?
No. Ti šta radiš?
Pijem kafu.
Snimam se. So you're asking šta radiš, which basically means what are you doing currently? What are you doing right now? I said ništa, but it might also relate to what we're talking about today because we're talking about job, occupation, you know. And that will be, we have some questions about that and how you can ask what someone's job is, what their occupation is.
In every country, it's different to ask for their job. To find the polite way. So we will teach you today how to ask properly someone's job.
Yes. A job in Serbian is posao, and occupation is zanimanje.
Zanimanje.
Yes. And you remember that we talked about craft?
Zanat.
That, like, what's your craft? Zanat, which is a Turkish word. There you go. Oh, I first wanted to ask you, because we started in this topic and I'm going to introduce some vocabulary to you, but do you know some names of some jobs? You probably learned something like the basics.
I learned in the course as well. Before the restrictions came down, we were going to the course and the last unit was about jobs. So I remember some cool jobs. For example, you wouldn't know that I know diplomatkinja.
Oh, how did you remember that?
Because it's so easy to remember. Diplomat. Diplomat is diplomat in Turkish. So for female, by the way, diplomatkinja, and for male is diplomata.
Yes, it is.
Male ending in A, exception, I feel.
Yes, that is something that I talked about in one of my videos on YouTube. There we have male nouns that end in A. And usually these are like occupations for some of them, obviously, but we're going to go through, we have like differences in how you can name a female and a male and in the same occupation. But yeah, that's an exception.
And another surprising job that I know is lopov.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a thief, lopov.
And you don't have a gender issue with that. Lopov is lopov. Doesn't matter.
Let me think about Yeah, it will be Lopov, Ona Lopov. That is true. There you go. It really surprised me there. How did you learn that? Where did you learn that?
Yeah, our teacher asked the same thing. Like, why do you ask? Because I don't know. We are afraid of Lopovs in our houses. Maybe I don't know.
So you can scream Lopov, Lopov. That's what you can do.
And I know inženjer. It's funny for me because it's like English.
Inženjerka, yeah, that's true. Didn't really think about it. Yeah. And then you wrote down that we can also mention the 1st of May, right?
Yes.
Because it's, it's a, how do you call it? The celebrate
Workers' Day.
Workers' Day by not working, basically. Which is,
taking a day off. By the way, an interesting information, but in Hong Kong, people from
work even more.
Like people who have like higher positions do not celebrate this day and they don't have a day off. People in lower levels, like blue collars, they celebrate it. They are having the official day. I'm like, what? I have never heard of such a thing.
Well, rich people are rich people probably because they don't take a day off. No, I'm kidding, but maybe that's I don't know, the culture.
Yeah, but in Serbia, it's
oh man,
it's a nice day, huh?
Yeah, it's a nice day, and usually the 1st of May should be a nice sunny day, but of course it doesn't happen every time.
It might rain.
Exactly, which really kills our plans and our vibe because the whole point of the 1st of May is to be with friends in an open space. So you want to be near the nature, and so it's like you go to to the river or in the park, depending on where you are, of course. Like if you're in a big city, you're going to go to the park. And so the point is to be surrounded by nature, like by trees and like plants and everything. So you want to feel like the part of a nature, and then you want to grill, basically.
Yeah. Grill, drink, play games.
Exactly, play games. And I mean, we definitely played games, but can tell you that it was a lot about just eating and just hanging out, and depends on where you are. And I had different ways of celebrating it. You go to a vacation house, or you go to the park, or I think it's really fun. Like they always have really good memories connected to that. I also wanted us to talk about jobs in Serbia, like what's the career like in Serbia. Probably you don't really have that much experience because you're not working in Serbia. It's your...
Yeah, I'm working online. Yeah.
Yes.
I
so
worked like as a freelancer for partly Serbian company as well, but yeah.
You did? What did you learn about it?
I mean, they are very social. The colleagues have this group. I mean, I quit that now, but they talk all the time about their work, and they always share jokes, like funny clips on that group. So to me, like co-workers or colleagues are your friends. You can always hang around, and
we don't have that like a wall. You know what I mean? Like we are with colleagues, we are friends. It kind of like crosses that business. I don't know, communication. So yeah. And if you're not friends, like at least not joke, and you don't have to be best friends or whatever, but like and that's really awkward if you can't really like, if you're just all business with your colleagues. I don't know. It's a bit weird. So yeah, we do. I also want to mention that in Serbia, like the career is not such a big deal as it is in some Western countries. I think it's slowly beginning, but we don't really have that like mentality of like climb up the ladder. And there's not like, again,
is it like find a stable job and just work for it? Like this is what people expect from you, or like parents?
Yeah, because our community is like our culture is most like community driven. So what you cherish is the connections, right? And the point in life is to have your circle and your family, and that's like the major part of your life. And of course, if you have a really good job, that's a bonus, but you just basically like want to have a job so that you can financially support yourself. Sorry. And so yeah, I think career is not like, you don't grow up with this mentality of like in New York, you have to I don't know,
get better and better.
Exactly. And it's not like the only drive in your life. But I think that as with almost any country right now, like because we're getting globalized and everything westernized, it's becoming a thing. So, which is good for some people that actually really enjoy their passion and career. Then they're maybe not that much. They maybe don't want to have like kids or whatever. They're like, no, I just want to, learn, and that's all I care about. So that's good for them. But for other people, it may be like there's a certain pressure, and yeah, you just don't really develop that much in your career. You can, but the chances are not as high as in some other countries.
Okay. And what is the the highest career paths like the parents want or imagine their kids to have?
Oh, the highest career path. I think
like the best jobs or.
Well, first of all, I would say that your parents just want you to have a secure job. I think that's it. If you get a good, secure, like well-paid secure job, that is amazing. But it's fine. Just secure in a sense, like it's in a something that's unlimited, right? So we also don't have that culture of like 6 months and then 6 months of prolongation. No, it's like you get a job. probably forever.
Okay.
But you can also get fired pretty easily compared to the West. But I would say in Serbia, if you just want to be on the safe side and be like have a good salary, I would go for medicine. I think medicine is like if you're a doctor, really, really nice. Any type of doctor. But of course there are differences, depending on what you're doing. But not also only that, also even the nurses, they have the opportunity to go to other countries because we have many nurses.
Especially Germany. Right.
Exactly. Germany, but I also heard of like other countries that people go to. And then I would go like for finances, of course, and law. These are like law, I would say, is really, really tough. It's like a long law. I mean, even medicine, you study for 6 years.
Longest, I guess,
minimum.
here too, right?
Yeah. So I think medicine is 6 years. And for like law, it is like officially 3 to 4 years or whatever, maybe 5, but then you have other exams that you have to pass and everything, this whole thing. And then the emerging area, which is computer science.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it's I think with this culture nowadays, and you're all going into like engineering and everything, digitalizing everything, having helper, like programs to help you, robots to help you, whatever, that's kind of the future, and that's what's being a lot of like startups, I think, even in Serbia are starting. So I think it's a growing field.
And the best paying jobs, the same ones?
That's what I would say. So if depend medicine, right? But like if you're a doctor, if you're an anesthesiologist, for example, if you're a doctor, but obviously you need to have your own practice, plus working somewhere else, and I don't know, like these kind of things. And I mean, in computer science, not everyone earns really well. You climb up the ladder and so on, and depends on law. Are you an attorney? Are you like, what are you like, which kind of like level you're at, obviously. But I think that these are some, as almost probably everywhere, where it can guarantee you like a good life.
True. Cool.
Okay. Now that we talked about area, did you want to mention an area or something that you?
I was just thinking of our conversations. For example, when their kids study mathematics here, the parents are so proud of them, or the others, wow, congrats, he earned that degree from Belgrade. Wow, like that's I think what I observed is a very good department to study in terms, like in the eyes of parents at least.
I think it's practical, I would say. And I mean, for me, like I studied languages. I don't think languages are that valued, at least not in my family. So they're like, oh my God, don't do that, But, and it's not really like, doesn't pay well almost anywhere, depending on what like exactly what you're doing. So but I think overall, they're not really expecting you to finish all of these like degrees and everything. I think the ultimate success is like, hey, you have a job and you can finance yourself. That's a good kid to have.
You're done. Okay, good.
You're independent. You have your own money. I don't have to think about you. You have like a secure job. Like you're a success kid for me, my success son or daughter. I think that's all parents want. They don't really have like this, like even for me, like I'm a doctor now, but I mean, like a doctor of, not of medicine, of science, of philosophy. But my mom was like, I didn't like, that's great and amazing, and like you're like, I'm really proud of you, but I never asked for you, like I didn't need that. I would be just fine if you finished even your bachelor studies and found a job. It would be fine. So
Okay.
Good. Then let's go over some vocabulary.
Okay. My first question: you have different nouns for teaching jobs. It's complicated. I don't know how to please explain it to me, and also include like the private freelance ones as well.
Oh, okay. So I first want to mention that we usually have binary like words for like a male and female person, which not every language has. But then sometimes we have just one word that can be masculine or feminine for any gender, basically sex or whatever. And yeah, I think I wrote this down and for teachers, and it is kind of complicated because I think the school education system is different in every country.
Yeah.
So we have vaspitač for a guy and vaspitačica, which is basically a teacher in kindergarten. And that's just a couple of years that you have, I'm guessing 3-4 years that you can have before you actually start going to school. Yeah, so that's vaspitač.
And those teachers have 2 years degree, or
you have to do, I think, at least 3 years. I think it's 3 years, and we have specific universities for vaspitačice, and it's usually women, but we also have vaspitače, vaspitač,
Okay, cool.
Then you start going to the so-called primary school, which is 4 years. And in those 4 years, you only have one teacher for every class, except for
PE, maybe?
Yes, I think that one. I think only that one is different. But maybe even that, I can't really remember now. So it's just one teacher. And that one is, a guy is učitelj, and derives from učiti, which is to learn.
Yes, to learn.
And, yeah.
Or to teach.
To teach, yeah. And I forgot, actually, vaspitač means vaspitavati, to educate, to...
train or...
something like that, yeah.
To educate.
Kids, but just kids. To properly educate them in a way. Or train them. I don't know how to explain it. To train them about social norms and stuff like that.
Like manners.
Yeah, exactly. Bon ton and so on. So učitelj and učiteljica for a girl, and that's the teacher in primary school. But then you go after the 4th year, you have 4 more years of so-called secondary school.
Yeah.
Before high school. Yeah, middle school. Before high school. And that one, this is where you have a teacher for each course. For biology, for maths and everything.
So
and
these teachers have their own branches.
Exactly. And for that, I think you need to finish even master studies, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to be a teacher of maths, you have to finish bachelor and master studies. I think it's changed in the last couple of years. And that one is nastavnik and nastavnica.
Nastavnica. So nastavnici means something?
Nastavnik... Nastaviti, maybe, to continue. I don't know, actually. Nastava. Okay. Nastava is like lectures. Lectures are nastava.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So yeah, in that middle school. So
and then high school.
And then high school. Actually, in high school, I think you still use nastavnik.
Okay. Nastavnik.
But then you go to the university, and then it's professor.
Professor.
Or profesorka.
And doctor after teacher.
Doctor is
doctor.
Doctor, yeah, doctor. I wrote down doktorica. No, doktorka, right?
Doktorka.
I think doktorka. This is funny because sometimes you can also hear profesorica. But I would say profesorka. So also, I think in other areas like Croatia, I think they would say profesorica more than profesorka. So in this case, I would say doktorka as well instead of doktorica. A medicine. So that's like a medical doctor. But if you want to say a general practitioner, someone who's not specialized for something else, then it's lekar or lekarka. Or lekarka. But mind you, you can also use doctor for that. I went to my GP, to my doctor, so
it's easier.
Yeah. But just because you have doctor of science, because of that, it's kind of a bit weird. It's funny because I'm a doctor of philosophy, and my brother-in-law, he's an actual doctor now, a general practitioner. So it's kind of unfair to be we're both doctors,
Yeah.
So anyway. Then we have zubar and zubarka. You know that one?
Zubar, teeth. So dentist. Zubar, and teeth, right?
You can also say stomatolog.
Stomatolog.
That's but we say zubar. I mean, more often. And then we have kuvar, kuvarica.
Chef.
You know that.
Yes, cook.
Pekar, pekarka.
Baker.
Yeah. Prodavač, prodavačica.
Prodavač, prodavista. Yeah, I talk to them most of the time, so I need to know this.
Yeah, seller, vendor, salesman, clerk. I found so many alternatives. Okay. And here, obviously, you can say lekar even for female. It's fine. But if you want to be proper, you can say lekar. I mean, like what I'm saying with these words, it's usually the male is the default one, right?
Yeah.
But then you have where female is default, which is medicinska sestra or just sestra.
Sestra. Like nurse. Sister. So nurse.
Yeah, she's a nurse. Yeah. We say sister. Yeah.
Wow.
And but for a guy, because sister means sister, sestra means sister, right?
Yeah, female, obviously.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid to call a guy a sister, right? So you would say medicinski brat.
Medicinski brat, okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have also sekretarica for secretary.
Yeah.
But I have to mention this. Sekretar is not a secretary. It's actually a position in politics.
Oh, like a secretary.
So it has a totally, has a totally different function.
I see.
And then we come to the male version only, where you have, there's no female version, but you use it for everyone. You have inženjer, which is also mašinovođa. That's the proper Serbian. Yeah, that's the
but it's
Serbian
like
equivalent.
Mechanical engineer, maybe, right?
Yes, it is, which is, so usually for someone who's dealing with like computer science, you would say inženjer, just to like, not mašinovođa, you know. Psiholog.
Psiholog, okay.
Sudija,
judge.
And then we have arhitekta, photograph. And
photograph so is the person?
Yes, fotografia is the photo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And the last one, again, just photograph. Female. Yeah,
it's funny.
You're such a good photograph. And then the female ones, which is like really like funny when if you think about it, cleaning lady. Čistačica.
Čistačica.
Yeah.
It's like a nut's name.
And then babysitter is dadilja.
It's similar to Turkish one.
Yeah?
Dada in Turkish.
Yeah, probably. You can say babysitterka, it's fine. But dadilja is more proper. And then maid, sobarica.
Wow. Maid like working in an office or at home?
Maid like in at home, like just like, or hotel, you know, dealing with like rooms, not necessarily cleaning, taking out the trash, but like, you know, just making sure that the room is, the sheets are changed and so on. Yeah. Sobarica, yeah. Soba is a room, okay. Right?
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Okay, and then we get to questions. Actually, how do you ask what someone is doing, like what their job is, right?
Yes.
You wanted to know that.
So you don't ask šta je tvoj posao, I guess.
I mean, yeah, you can ask that, but it's just not common. You know, šta je tvoj posao? Yeah, you can, when you say šta je tvoj posao, I would presume you were asking, what is a part of your job? What are your tasks? You know, like which tasks do you do? But usually this is the most common one. Čime se baviš?
Yes, čime se baviš, I heard.
Yeah.
But this is to you in informal way, right?
Yeah.
Čime se bavite?
Yes, exactly. Čime se bavite? What do you do? Like, what do you
do for a living? Yeah.
Yeah. But you can ask, what is your occupation? If you remember, occupation is zanimanje, right?
Yes.
Koje ti je zanimanje?
Koje ti je zanimanje?
Which is your occupation?
What is your there? T?
No. Yeah, there's no...
it's a different structure, I guess.
It's T. So we sometimes use, instead of saying, where is your car? Gde je tvoj auto? You can also say, gde ti je auto?
Ah, okay.
So you don't use the...
Tvoj.
Okay. But T, right?
Nice.
So that's
the trick. Okay, we got the trick.
Yeah. You can ask, instead of asking šta radiš, you can ask gde radiš.
That's more appropriate, I guess. Like it covers, like it doesn't ask you directly what you're doing, but where are you working?
Yeah. Where do you work? Gde radite as well, right? You can also ask are you employed? Or did you get employed or something? So, da li si se zaposlio? Or zaposlila for a girl.
Okay.
And where did you get employed? Gde si se zaposlio or zaposlila? Okay, I prepared a dialogue.
Yay.
And I actually wrote down our names so that we know who we are. Have you read it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
But I haven't practiced it with you, so let's see.
Yeah. Okay, zdravo. Ja sam Ivana, učiteljica vašeg sina.
Ooh.
Which means, hello, I'm Ivana, your son's teacher. Sin is son. Yeah.
So you say učiteljica first, and then vašeg sina. Teacher, your son.
Yes, of your son. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Drago mi je Ivana. Ja sam Maki. That was easy. So nice to meet you, Ivana. I'm Maki.
Yes. I feel like that's important to add these like very common phrases that you're going to hear all the time. And then I say takođe, which is likewise. Recite mi, koje je vaše zanimanje, ako smem da pitam? So this is slightly difficult, but I wanted to add it because you're probably going to hear it too. Recite mi, which is like tell me.
Recite.
Yeah. But it's formal, recite mi. That if it was not formal, then it would be reci mi. Koje je vaše zanimanje, which is what is your occupation? And then I add ako smem da pitam, which is if I might ask. Because because I'm a teacher, right? And I'm talking to a mom, and it still have to be a bit formal. Can I ask you? Like, might I ask? Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Naravno. Of course. Ja sam doktor medicine. Trenutno radim u bolnici. Moj muž je stomatolog or zubar. Moj muž je zubar, ali se još nije zaposlio. So I said, of course, I'm a medical doctor. Trenutno radim u bolnici means currently I'm working at a hospital.
Yes.
And moj muž, my husband, is a dentist, zubar.
Exactly.
Ali, which is but, he's not employed.
Yes.
Se još nije zaposlio.
Yeah. So I wanted to add the doctor of medicine. You can just say, I'm doktorka. You don't have to say doctor of medicine, but I wanted to add it here. I wanted to use the word bolnica to know that that's the hospital, and zubar. That's something very common, dentist. But I also want to add zaposlio again, but he still hasn't got a job. He's not employed yet.
Right now.
Yeah, currently. Okay, and then I say lepa zanimanja. Moj muž se bavi inženjerstvom, ali je od malena hteo da studira medicinu. And lepa zanimanja means wonderful occupations.
Yeah.
As you remember, occupation lepo is beautiful. Moj muž se bavi inženjerstvom. My husband is an engineer. Or you can say he does engineering. That's basically baviti, to do something, Ali od malena hteo da studira medicinu, which means, but from a young age, he wanted to study medicine. There you go. That's it. I tried to put all of the questions, the question words, and like some of the occupations and some of the verbs, but obviously you can be creative with this.
Okay. So please let us know. Let me ask this question formally. Čime se bavite? Everyone.
Yes, that's really good. Tell us, recite nam, čime se bavite? We want to know what's your occupation. If you don't know it,
gde radite?
Gde radite, exactly. If you don't know it in Serbian, text us in English, and then we're going to try to translate it if there is an equivalent to translate it. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Joanna.
Yeah, you're welcome. And
see you in the next episode.
Exactly. See you in the next episode. Prijatno.
Vidimo se. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our podcast and learned something new.
In case you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, make sure to share them on our Instagram page, Može Kafa Podcast. Prijatno!